morning, Malacañang Press Corps. Welcome sa Bangon Marawi Press Briefing. Today we have PIA Director General Harold Clavite to introduce yung ating pang ibang guest.
Thank you, Rocky. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Maayong buntag, MPC. Joining us today for another edition of the Bangon Marawi Press Briefing, our Task Force Bangon Marawi spokesperson, Assistant Secretary Toby Purisima, Mr. Joselito Bernabe, Senior Agriculturist from the Department of Agriculture, and of course from the Department of Public Works and Highways, Undersecretary Emil Sadain. We start today with an update on livelihood efforts. More internally displaced persons of Marawi City have received training and assistance in farming with the support provided by Go Negosyo Converges through a model farm project located in Barangay Linamun, Ditsaan Ramain Town, Lanao del Sur. For details of this project, let's watch this video.
Pagsaka, kasama ang suporta na ibinigay ng Go Negosyo Converges sa pamamagitan ng isang modelo ng proyekto sa bukid na matatagpuan sa bayan ng Barangay Linamon, Ditsaan, Ramain, Lanao del Sur. Ang tinatawag na Pakaradyan Koragunan, isang pagdiriwang ng pag-aani kung saan ang mga benepisyaryo nito ay kasama rin ang mga residente at magsasaka ng munisipalidad ng Ditsaan, Ramain at Bubong na nakatanggap din ng mga sertipiko ng pagkumpleto ng programa. Sa pagtataguyod ng entrepreneurship sa agrikultura, ang programa ay naging posible sa pamamagitan ng pakikipagtulungan ng Century Pacific Food Incorporated, Vita Coco, Harvest, Armed Forces of the Philippines, mga lokal na pamahalaan ng Lanao del Sur, Ditsaan, Ramain at Bubong. Sinabi ni Go Negosyo Project Head para sa ARMM at Projects and Advisor for Agri-Enterprises na si Ana Margarita Hontiveros Malvar, umaasa siya na ang mga pamaraan na ito ay talagang magiging bahagi na ng kanilang karanasan sa pag-aaral at magagamit nila sa kanilang sariling lupain sa pag-uwi nila. Maaalala ang parehong proyekto na ipinatupad sa Barangay Abaga, Balui, Lanao del Norte kung saan ang mga IDP ay mga benepisyaryo din. Ang proyektong ito ay binalak din na ipatupad sa ibang munisipyo sa Lanao del Sur. Samantala, ang Department of Agriculture Lanao del Sur ay nangako na susuportahan ang mga proyektong ito sa Ditsaan, Ramain sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng mga benepisyaryo ng mga binhi at mga materyales sa pagtatanim kabilang ang suporta sa technical at marketing. Ayon naman kay Yusuf Ditukalan, isa sa mga benepisyaryo at isang IDP na kasalukuyang naninirahan sa Ditsaan, Ramain, ay hinihimok niya ang kanyang mga kapwa residente na magsaka rin. Nais niya na ang kanyang kapwang Maranao na matuto at mapakinabangan ang proyektong ito sapagkat hindi lamang sila makakakuha ng kita kundi magkakaroon din sila ng isang malusog na pangangatawan. Dagdag pa ni Ditukalan na natutulungan siya ng proyekto na makalimutan ang nangyari sa Marawi.
Magpapasalamat ako sa Go Negosyo dahil tinulungan kami nila makalimot sa nangyari sa milyon diyan sa Marawi City. Napakagandang oportunidad na tapos namin nakuha namin ang pinag-aralan ng trainer sa 4 na taon sa 3 buwan lang. Dahil doon, nagpapasalamat ako sa aming trainer at saka yung nag-sponsor sa kanya Go Negosyo dahil sa suporta nila. Ngayon, pagtapos namin harvesting, tuloy-tuloy din ang tatanim namin ng mga iba't ibang gulay, prutas, para na ma-improve namin ang aming buhay.
Ang isang proyekto sa pagsaka para sa mga nagbalik na residente ng Marawi ay pinasimulan din sa pamamagitan ng isang tagpo ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno tulad ng Kagawaran ng Agrikultura, Kagawaran ng Agrarian Reform, Kagawaran ng Social Welfare at Development, kasama ang United Nations World Food Program at United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. Para sa Bayan, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Thank you. For additional updates, the Philippine Information Agency, which co-leads alongside the Presidential Communications Operations Office, the Task Force Bangon Marawi Information Management and Strategic Communications Support Group recently launched the Bangon Marawi, Bangon Ranao radio program, which is aired locally in Lanao del Norte and Lanao del Sur. The program is intended to regularly update the public on the rehabilitation and recovery efforts in Marawi. And this is hosted by our personnel from the Iligan Marawi Communications Command Center. Bangon Marawi, Bangon Ranao airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12:15 to 1 p.m. in RMN DXIC AM radio station. It is also live on Facebook page of Task Force Bangon Marawi and RMN DXIC's Facebook accounts. So far, we've had guests coming from Task Force Bangon Marawi, including Field Office Manager, Assistant Secretary Felix Castro, and Joint Task Force Ranao Deputy Commander Colonel Romeo Browner. Additional good news, songwriter Venny Saturno on Friday signed a memorandum of agreement allowing the Task Force Bangon Marawi to use the song Awit sa Marawi in all of Task Force Bangon Marawi activities. This was done at the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council office in Makati. Representing Task Force Bangon Marawi were Secretary Eduardo Del Rosario and Undersecretary Falcone Millar, including Assistant Secretary Avelino Talentino and Assistant Secretary Lira Buwan of HUD-C. The Voice Kids finalist Isang De Torres, who lent her voice to the song, attended and also performed during the MOA signing. For more updates, I'll turn you over to Assistant Secretary Toby Purisima. Okay.
Thank you very much, DG. Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps. Here are the updates from your Task Force, Bangon Marawi. 1,200 IDPs have received 10,000 pesos each as salary under the Department of Labor and Employment's Tulong Panghanap Buhay para sa Displaced Workers Program, or TUPAD, for the labor they rendered in farming last December 2017 to February 2018. Beneficiaries are the internally displaced persons of Marawi City who are farmers and are staying in Baloi, Lanao del Norte. The financial assistance was dubbed as Sagibo Salamat, or 1,000 thanks. The profiling of the beneficiaries was based on the certification proving that they are farmers, which was issued by the Marawi City Social Welfare Development. Also, the Disaster Assistance and Family Access Card from the Department of Social Welfare and Development was also used for purposes of verification. Most of the recipients of the financial assistance are also beneficiaries of Go Negosyo Converges' 3-month intensive farm training, who are now farmers of Agri Model Farm Site 1 in Barangay Abaga, Baloi, Lanao del Norte. Furthermore, Go Negosyo and the Philippine Franchise Association, in partnership with the Department of Trade and Industry, the provincial government of Lanao del Sur, and the city government of Marawi, launched the program Franchise Intervention to Rebuild Marawi, or FIRM, for internally displaced persons, in an effort to restore Marawi City's once thriving business economy. FIRM provides franchise and entrepreneurial seminars and offers special franchise investment packages. The program's goal is to help rebuild the economic fabric of the city by providing a viable investment option, promoting local trade activities, generating jobs in the community, and giving opportunities to the residents of Marawi to revive their livelihood. On the topic of relief, we would like to report that from March 2 to March 6, the Office of Civil Defense distributed 610 family packs to IDPs in 10 evacuation centers. This is in addition to the 352 family packs previously distributed in February. Another 290 family packs are scheduled to be distributed to 6 more evacuation centers today. These packs include kitchenwares, sleeping gears, and hygiene kits. On to housing news. The President inaugurated the Bahay Pag-asa Phase 2 in Barangay Mipaga, Marawi City last 28 February. This immediate shelter and accommodation housing complex features 60 single detached houses with individual kitchen, toilet, and bath facilities. Each house measures 23.76 square meters. The entire housing complex sits on a 1-hectare lot, and which was made possible through the generous donations of the following: Mr. and Mrs. Carlos Chan of OISHI, Tarlac Heritage Foundation, and the Chinese Filipino Business Club Incorporated. The compound has a deep well, water storage facilities, electric power connections, a community center, a volleyball court, a basketball court, a children's playroom and learning center, parking lots, and a 500 square meter Jardin ng Lunas vegetable and herbal garden to ensure the comfort of the internally displaced people of Marawi City who will call this area home. The Task Force Bangon Marawi Support Group for the Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program conducted a spatial analysis workshop last March 1 and 2, attended by representatives from various TFBM agencies and local officials of Marawi City. It aimed to help the task force ensure that the locations of planned infrastructure and the sites to be covered by their proposed programs will consider spatial issues and be sensitive to the Maranao culture. We would also like to report that the Vice President visited Lanao del Sur last March 6. She attended a series of events in the province. Among these were the groundbreaking of Angat Buhay Village in Barangay Sagonsongan, Marawi City, a dialogue with IDP women dressmakers, and a turnover of livelihood subsidies in the Municipal Hall of Sagyaran. Also on March 6, Resolution number 754, allowing the implementation of national government agencies of programs, projects, and activities in the Bangon Marawi Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program under the task force, was approved by the Regional Legislative Assembly of ARMM in Cotabato City. The resolution shall hasten the assistance for the IDPs and the rehabilitation and recovery efforts in Marawi City, while the crafting of the Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program, or CRRP, is ongoing. On the development of the most affected areas, the process for the selection of the developer for the most affected areas is underway. We are currently at the preliminary evaluation stage. Negotiations would commence next week. Thereafter, original proponent status will be conferred on one of the developers. This will then be subjected to competitive challenge, or what we call as the Swiss challenge. The best bid will serve as the developer for the project. The target date for the groundbreaking is May 2018, while project completion is scheduled on December 2021. We want to assure everyone that we will do this as fast as we can, but we will do it in the right manner and following the right procedures. That is all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Asik Toby. We'd like to give the microphone to Mr. Joselito Bernabe from Department of Agriculture.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of USEC Ariel T. Kayanan of Department of Agriculture, I will be presenting to you the updates of the rehab efforts of the DA in relative to Bangon Marawi. Next, please. Next, please. So these are the highlights of the accomplishments of our brothers and sisters from DAF Arm. They've established 2 new vegetable production sites of 5.6 hectares, serving 700 IDPs in Cabasran, Marawi City, and Maliwanag, Sagyaran, Lanao del Sur. They also conducted the on-site training on organic vegetable production to farmer beneficiaries on Barangay Dalimbayan and communal sagyaran. They also distributed 160 packets of assorted vegetables and 24 kilograms mung bean. We are also in partners with the UNFAO, so they have distributed around 2,425 bags of certified rice seeds, 2,624 bags of OPB corn seeds, and 5,049 sets of vegetable seeds. Next, please. Next slide. For the VFAR arm, the highlights of accomplishments, they have conducted around 315 technical assistance. These are post-harvest, such as fish smoking, then the construction of fish pots. They've also distributed around 547 units of fishing gears or paraphernalias, 502 units fish pots, 45 units spear guns, and 50 units non-motorized bangka. There's also an ongoing construction of 2 units smokehouse. And these are the pictorials of their actual distribution of fishing gears and units of fish pots. Next. These are the training assistants they have conducted. Just a snapshot of the. So these are the latest updates from the Department of Agriculture Central Office. We have allocated around 45.89 million worth of production support services, still waiting for the NCA from DBM. We have 30 units of farm tractor for procurement process this year for the Army agricultural engineering companies. This is in partnership with DND. The MOA, there's no MOA yet, and the guidelines will follow. The DAF arm already distributed around 4,500 bags of OPB white corn seeds. Then the remaining 6,000 bags will be distributed in time for the March to April planting season. That's all for the Department of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Bernabe. We'd like to call on Undersecretary Emil Sadain from DPWH.
Okay, good morning, Malacañang Press Corps. I have actually 2 reports here with me. The subcommittee report on reconstructions and the reconstructions and development plan for the Greater Marawi. But I'll be leaving both electronic files and hard copies with the Press Corps. Now, just to sum up all these things, now, from the day 1 of the creations of the task force, where DPWH has been a major agency in putting some more actions on response team, the reconstruction subcommittee is actually headed by Secretary Mark Villar, of which may as his alternate. We have been working through with the first 60 hectares development for the 1,200 houses, temporary shelters in Sagunsungan, and we have actually completed the development of these sites and constructions of the houses done by the Committee for Housing under NSA. It's already about 1,000 units, so leaving around 200 units to complete by end of March. And other than that, since there are already people living with the President's turnover sometime last year, there were a lot of, commerce or resettlement from the IDPs who are now occupying these resettlement sites. And part of the activities also done by DPWS is the transport of potable water from the 6 water lorries that we had in DPWS in coordination with the OCD. For the meantime, Philippine is still doing some digging of deep well, but they're targeting actually by early April they can have a good source of potable water that will supply the reservoir right there and then in the resettlement site. Now, other activities of DPWS covered also the 37 kilometers clearing of national and provincial roads to and from Marawi City, especially the line of roads from Iligan to Marawi and Cotabato to Marawi as well. So that also includes the clearings of some major municipal roads and city roads. No, in fact, continuously, since have some already recipient of this equipment from China, sometime last year when it was turned over to us, plus the in-house equipment we had in DPWH, we are actually continuously working through with more clearing works, even in new roads opening. This coming March 15, there will be another 27 sets of new equipment, but this time this will come from Government of Japan. There's an activity for turnover on March 15, 10 o'clock. I hope the Malacañang Press Corps can be present at that occasion. So this also includes the turnover of about 26 vehicles to the task force by Mitsubishi Company, and a grant from Japanese government also for the UN Habitat program. Now, other than these interventions, DPWH is working through also closely with other financing donors like ADB and JICA to attain a more comprehensive plans of development, because we saw the needs for development plans, not only addressing the post-conflict needs assessment on infrastructure requirements, but also the development plans that would address basically the 72 barangays outside of the 24 barangays covered by the ground zero. Basically, Marawi City has a total of 96 barangays now. The master plan for the private concessionaires for the development of the 24 barangays for ground zero is actually being carried out by the task force. No, of course, DPWH is part of those. By this coming Monday, the 6 evaluations for the 6 proposals will be submitted by the Bangon Marawi Technical Working Group to the Bangon Marawi Selection Committee. And hopefully by April, we can go for publications for bidding for SV's challenge, as mentioned by Toby a while ago. But in parallel to this, we would like to inform also the Reconstruction Committee under DPWH is also working through with, we call it the reconstructions and rehabilitation plans for Greater Marawi that covers the 72 barangays outside of the ground zero. Meaning these are actually the same areas, although these were not actually, as compared to the MAA, where there was any heavy damage. But most of the IDPs that comes back to Marawi are actually residing in the 72 barangays. And there's a need, in the map shown here, there's a need to construct at least 5 major components. First is the blue circle line, we call it the ring road. That's actually 19-kilometer stretch, 4 lanes road that would connect from the eastern side of Lake Lanao circumferential roads towards Sagyaran, Piagapo, Marantao, all the way to Marawi City to the west coast sections of the Lake Lanao circumferential roads. That's about 19 kilometers, 4 lanes. It's a new constructions roads that will give us an easy access from east-west area or even from Iligan sections and from Cotabato city side. So other than that, to get into the inner sections of Marawi City, there are the 45 kilometers trans-central roads in different locations. No, this will easen up the transport network, the connectivity that will be more accessible now to the motorists and the residents within the area. And there's also third component, the water supply system, where we need to rehab and expand to include the 35 barangays of the 72 towns, 72 barangays within outside of the ground zero. Basically, these 35 barangays doesn't have a potable water supply. No, in the past, when the siege took place, there were some impact on the explosions that gives actually the transmission or the distribution line disconnected, and that also weaken up the supplies of potable water supply. Now, under this plan, the water supply will be part of the rehabilitation works as well. Then 3 major emergency, we call it common facilities, the common facility per set, this includes school buildings, public market, health center, and house of worship. Meaning, for the Sagunsungan relocation site in the upstream sections, one set will be constructed in that area. Another set will be within the 72 barangays, and another set is nearby the 24 barangays or the ground zero. So that gives us a better pictures where people may go through, no, especially on the schools and public market that were actually damaged in the 24 barangays within ground zero. And the last component is the 1.6 kilometer Malabang Viaduct on the southwest portions of the Marawi city. That is where the motorists or the public can come in if you are actually coming from Zamboanga del Sur, del Norte, and Cotabato. That's the only route that leads you towards the Narciso Ramos Highway. Now, all these 5 components actually runs to a total of 11 billion pesos. We had done so much coordinations with JICA, and JICA pledged around 1 billion pesos as a grant component. In fact, this coming Monday, we'll be having some discussions again. And part of the funds also, covering funds for the constructions, will become from the emergency funds of ADB. Last Monday, we had a fruitful discussions where Secretary Del Rosario was there also in ADB, with some top officials also of ADB. We're discussing about the proposals implementations. In fact, these proposals now is actually with NEDA. And NEDA committed to do the evaluations this March and April. So all the way to the approval, and we saw the projects can take off the ground for implementations on the second or third quarter of this year, no? Later part of the third quarter of this year, meaning September or early first month of fourth quarter, October. So that's the target. The constructions will run for about 2 years of implementation. So in the implementation here, you could see the difficulty there is actually on the right of way, especially on the ring road for 4 lanes. But we had also a good discussions with the 4 towns, particularly the mayors of Sagaran, Piagapo, Marantao, and even Mayor Gandambra of Marawi City. Basically, about 80% of the ring road actually is under military reservation areas. And we don't see much difficulty on that, except on some improvement or farmland that might be affected. But we can compensate that using the proper way of acquiring right-of-way acquisition. For the Trans-Central roads, the 45.5 kilometers Trans-Central road, that is actually existing roads where we just have to widen to optimize the available space within this prescribed road section. Meaning we have 4 design options for the Trans-Central roads. It varies the width from 7 meters, 8, 9, and 10 meters. So there will be no displacement of families, there will be no payment on right-of-way acquisition. What we can make here is a road that has its own carriageway, shouldering, and drainage. Sa ngayon kasi wala siyang drainage actually. So you could see even for a simple flooding, it just ran through the street, no? But in this plan, it can actually address all those things, no? So this will be actually a project that is, we are optimistic that it can take off because the JICA and ADB has pledged a very strong commitment on this activity. In fact, just like last Thursday, we brought in the ADB study team and their evaluation team to Marawi, and we held a meeting with task force Bangon Marawi, where Asek Castro was there also, and I chaired the discussion. It was a very fruitful discussions, and we saw that this will really be a go projects by the fourth quarter of this year. So that's also.
Thank you, Yusek Sadain. Rocky?
Okay, MPC questions? Kay Asek Toby Purisima, na-establish ng PDEA yung narco-terrorism. Since alam natin ang Marawi galing sa terrorism, so paano ito ini-handle ng task force?
Merong security subcommittee ang task force Bangon Marawi, which is headed by the Department of National Defense and the Secretary of National Defense. No? So kasama ito sa whole of government effort at whole of society effort ng rehabilitation and recovery ng Marawi City, kasi kasama sa i-rehabilitate natin at i-recover natin at pagagandahin natin yung governance structure pagdating doon. And again, this is part of the Mindanao-wide effort for in terms of good governance, no. And so makakaasa kayo na kasama ang law and order and security sa inaaral at sa patuloy na pinag-aaralan at ginagawa ng paraan ng task force. Kasama rin dito ang governance. So that will make a difference in terms of that narco list.
Ina Andolong?
This is for either ASEC Toby or USEC Sadain po. Nabanggit na po ni USEC na 6 po yung bidders who submitted proposals. Were there local developers who is participating in the process, or puro foreign po ba? Can you tell us?
Well, at this point, we're still in the process and would be in the process of negotiations. No? So we're not at liberty to disclose who the proponents are. And in any case, whatever happens to after the negotiation phase, pagkatapos kasi ng negotiations, magbibigyan kung sino man yung developer na mapipili at this early stage, bibigyan siya ng original proponent status or OPS. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na siya na ang panalo, na siya na talaga ang developer. Doon pa lang gagawin yung Swiss challenge na tinatawag natin. So kung sino man yung mapili na OPS or sabihin natin OPS developer, no, i-challenge siya ng anyone and including even the others that submitted. So maski yung mga unang nag-submit, pwede ring i-challenge yung original proponent status. And that is the beauty of the Swiss challenge, because malalaman talaga natin kung ano yung optimal bid, kung ano yung optimal specs na pwedeng gawin itong mga developers na ito, at para mapili ng task force ang pinakamagandang solusyon, pinakamagandang project proposal para dito. At maraming agencies ang involved dito, hindi lamang ang HUD-C ang involved dito sa pagpili nitong proponent, no. Kasama rin natin dito, to name a few, no. To name a few, kasama natin dito ang BCDA, kasama natin ang NHA, DOF, NEDA, PPP Center, DPWH, DNR, DILG, OCD, MINDA, Marawi City LGU, and Lanao del Sur Provincial Office. So marami tayong agencies involved. Gusto nating itong gawin sa isang mabilis na sa mabilis na panahon, ngunit gagawin rin natin ito ng tama. So makakaasa kayo na once we're at liberty to disclose more details, we will do so. But due to the nature of the negotiations, we cannot do so at this point.
Sir, can you just give us na lang po an idea on the extent of the development to be handled by the this lone developer that will be chosen in the end?
The main affected, the most affected areas, previously known as the main battle area, no? This is composed basically of 24 barangays and is composed of around 200 to 250 square meters. So ito yung ide-develop nitong developer na ito, at maraming require doon sa magiging developer, no. Kaya masusi talagang pinag-aaralan itong mga proposals nila.
Ano po yung the least na requirements?
There are 15 requirements. I don't have them now, but we will give you copies of those minimum requirements to be developed by that developer.
Okay, questions? Laila Salaveria?
For ASEC Purisima, sir, earlier officials said that the groundbreaking for the reconstruction will begin in April, and now you said it will begin in May. So what's the reason for the delay?
Una, actually na on target pa naman tayo, because the initial timetable was late April to early May. So pasok pa naman yan. Dahil syempre nire-review natin yung mga papel, yung mga sinubmit ng ating proponents. Kung medyo natagalan yung pag-review dahil lamang gusto natin maging masusi yung ating pag-review, no. So we're still on target. Wala pa naman masasabing significant delay, no. Gusto lang siguraduhin ng technical working group at ng selection committee na tama yung prosesong ginagamit at tama yung pag-review nitong proposals na ito. Kung tutuusin nga, parang nakasekond na nga ang mga various government officials at staff no sa task force dahil araw-araw nagmi-meeting, araw-araw nag-uusap, araw-araw nag-evaluate ang technical working group at yung selection committee. Kaya halos ito na talaga yung ginagawa ng ating mga officials no. I'm also participating in that technical working group no. So we're ensuring that we review all the documents properly.
Thank you.
Okay, questions? Pia Gutierrez.
Kay Yusek Sadain po. Sir, dun sa meeting ninyo with JICA and EDB, meron po ba sila mga recommendations, particularly sa pagbuo po ng Comprehensive Development Plan ng Marawi?
Yeah. Basically, what they really wanted is it should be actually a project that is really needed for the Task Force Bangon Marawi program. And the proposal actually is geared towards inclusive economic growth for Marawi City, and it also give an advocacy for the advocates roles of the infrastructure development towards creating a new economic centers. No, meaning it's not only the 24 barangays or the MAA that is the subject of development, but also the neighboring barangays within Marawi City. So it creates a new economic hub within the 72 barangays, and it's adjoining periphery towns like Sagaran, Pegapo, and Marantao. So the equipment also, as they will be pledging for turnover this March 15, will augment actually the construction equipment fleet that we had with DPWH. So eventually this can cover even the equipment clearing operations within the MAA area. In fact, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, while they are actually working for the clearance of the IED, some equipment also from DPWH and from this grant are actually being used.
And also, sir, yung 1 billion pledge ng JICA, is it in dollars or pesos, sir?
Yeah, that's in pesos, ma'am. The JICA wanted to cover the 45 kilometers Transcentral Road. But since there's only 1 billion pesos covered, this will actually fund portions of the 45 kilometers Transcentral Road. The Transcentral Road runs to a cost of about 2.5 billion pesos no, for the 45.25 kilometers roads. So, but the 1 billion, according to them, may just be the start. There might be a continuing pledge also on the succeeding years.
What about ADB, sir? May pledge din sila,
For
sir?
ADB, what is clear with them is they have $5 million grant, but that would cover some technical assistance and 100 million soft loan package for the emergency funds. The total 11 billion may run to about 220 million US dollar. So nakikita namin doon the 100 million funds might be augmented by ADB as well. So to cover 200 million US dollars.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, MPC questions? Okay, thank you, Yusek Sadain, Sir Bernabe, Sec Purisima, TG Clavite. Thank you.
Yes, maraming salamat. And just to close, we'd like to encourage everyone to continue to follow Task Force Bangon Marawi in social media. Nasa Facebook po tayo, Bangon Marawi PH, Twitter, and Instagram. Maraming salamat, Rocky.
Okay, salamat po. Salamat Malacañang Press Corps. Balik tayo sa main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.
Thank you, sir. Maraming salamat.